All right, welcome back, guys. I'm just going to delete these quickly. We're going to start off just laying down a kick. Okay, I'm just inserting a groove agent here. I've got a bank that I've saved with a bunch of kicks that I just keep on hand. It's just a quick way for me to start. There's a bunch of different ones that I use, but for now, I'll just grab this sidekick menu. So there's a bunch of kicks in here that I've gotten from, or that I've made, and various ones from producers and stuff over the years that I've collected, and I've just kind of mapped them into a sampler, just that I can kind of scroll through them, and I find this is just a good way to find the kick that you're looking for. I'm not going to bother with creating one from scratch this time around. There's a ton of tutorials on how to do that. A lot of these I have made from Kick 2 and Metrum and stuff. Kick 2 is great for building your kick drums. But I'm just going to dive straight in and go for a sample because I know these work pretty well. We could just layer up our kick pattern. And then it's pretty easy to just scroll through them. Quite like that one. We'll probably just go with that. Cool. I'm just going to drag this out. This is a new little feature in Cubase as well. I usually used to use Apple D, which is the shortcut for duplicating. What I do now is you have this little handle here, which you can just drag out a loop. The problem with this one is I don't see, you can't actually see the notes here now, but if you do that, each one is separate. So if I sort of take the second one here and I delete a note, and you look at the first one again, that last note is still there in that block. If you go back and you drag this out again, but you hold down Shift, you'll see that there's this little equal sign. What that means now is that these are instanced. So they're essentially linked to each other. So now you can actually see the notes in the part here. If I delete one of these kicks, you'll see it deleted from all these other instance parts at the same time, which is pretty handy to use when you are just working with loops initially and getting things going. You don't have to go and copy these parts manually each time. You can just drag them out and they'll update as you go along. You used to be able to use a function called, well, you still can if you're on an older version of Cubase. You need to enable it. It's called independent track loop. If you turn this on, you can actually set a different loop. You'll see this one is green. It's not normally red, but I've switched all the colors around. So independent track loop will only loop this highlighted one, even though these are playing. They're not actually current. It looks like they're playing, but they're not. It's actually just looping the same one over and over again. So if you're on an older version of Cubase, that's one way to get around it. But if you're on 9.5, you don't have to. We'll just do it the new way. So there's really not a lot to say about this kick other than Groove Agent's got a cool little thing that you can go into the amp and hit sync. So you can now see your kick over bars and beats rather than as time, which is cool because you can now go and draw in an envelope. And I know I kind of wanted 2/16. I don't really want the kick going over that. It just introduces mud and stuff. So I kind of wanted to fade out roundabout here somewhere. That's good. I'm not going to do a whole lot of processing on this. I'm going to just add a Clean Sweep Pro. which is very simple. It's just a high pass and low pass filter from Brainworks. We're just gonna leave it as Butterworth, probably do a 24 dB, which is the order, yeah, and set this around probably 30, just to cut off any low end that we don't want. I'm gonna do the same on top as well. I'm not really cutting off any audible stuff here. I'm just gonna set that to 20. 20K it should be. Just in case there is any information above there, you won't hear the difference, but it can add up if there's stuff above there, which there shouldn't be, but just in case, that's just good practice to do that. I'm gonna slap on a Slate Digital mix rack. We are looking for just a compressor. There's actually another compressor in here that I use quite often as well, the FG Bomber. I wouldn't call it's not a traditional compressor. It just kind of adds a nice click to things, but it's not quite a envelope shaper either. I'm not 100% sure what the process is going into it, but it just adds a nice little bit of punch to the kick. And that one's bypassed. I'm dialing in a little bit of compression. I don't compress the kick much. I'm actually going to let through some of the dry signal as well. This is pretty much parallel compression. It's just to kind of just slightly keep it under control, but not really doing too much at all. Cool. I'm actually gonna just render this down to. Let's just disable that quickly. There we go. So we've got an audio. I just want to see that's looking good. We don't want this kick going too far over, so it doesn't muddy up everything. Just clip that, and I'm just going to put this into its own sampler window now. So if you just create a new sampler track, and just drop this in here. And I'm going to transfer these two plugins to the new sampler track there. Just don't need those other kicks anymore, so I'm just going to remove that. So we've got our kick set up, and I've removed the actual kick pattern as well. We'll just redo that quickly. Right, that's about it. We'll move on to the bass line next.